Hey, everybody, and welcome to another live stream of Justin's Lighthouse Recovery. I was thinking, and I promise I'm going to keep this one short tonight, but we've been talking about recovery in particular this week in regards to understanding what we're recovering from. Right? I think it's really easy in the beginning of recovery to believe, well, I'm recovering from opioid addiction, I'm recovering from alcohol, I'm recovering from pills or pot or whatever it is. But if that's all we're after, if we're just going to not drink or use our drug of choice, what about the rest of our life? So I'm going to throw some things at you. I think it's critical to understand, what are we really recovering from? Right? We understand the genetics, but at the end of the day, the drinking and the using is the symptom, right? It's not enough to not drink, not use. We got to change some stuff. We got to change some deep-rooted stuff. So have an understanding of what you're recovering from. Let me give you two definitions. The definition of recovery is a return to a normal state of health, mind or strength. Okay, to me, the key word there is normal, right? Return to a normal state. The definition of normal is conforming to a standard, something typical, something usual, average. Okay, well, when I think about that in my own journey, the last thing I should be focusing on is returning to some previous state of health. Right, in my journey leading up to through addiction and then into my own recovery, I had to decide pretty early on, I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to go back to a previous state of health. I want to build completely new. Right, and that's why you see, everybody knows people that have been in recovery for decades, and I'm not talking about the dry drunks. I'm talking about the people that have really changed their lives, and they live pretty balanced lives, and now they're working with other people, and they're great role models, and we love spending time with them. Those are the people who understood they were recovering from far more than drugs and alcohol. Okay, so let's take a look at what many of us are actually recovering from. You'll probably be able to recognize some of these, but it's really important to understand it in yourself. We are all recovering from a lifetime of compromised values. Right? Just the very nature of addiction and just the chaos and the dysfunction of it all, we've compromised a lot of values. We've compromised a lot of ideas. We've compromised a lot of our own behaviors. We're recovering from a lifetime of unresolved pain. Know what that looks like. Be willing to explore that. And of course, we talk about trauma all the time. We're recovering from strategies that help us to keep people away. So in early recovery, we can be really scared to get close to people. Right? That's one of our big hurdles, typically. And it doesn't matter whether you're an introvert or whether you're an extrovert. Extroverts may feel more alive around a lot of people, but we can be lost in a crowd, right? We can be around hundreds of people and still not really be present. And if you're an introvert, well, we just like to hide out, right? We're scared to death of crowds. But either way, we don't know who we are. And so that's a good one. I'm recovering from a lifetime of not having a clue who I really am. To be willing to take a look at that one. We're recovering from a lifetime of unhealthy relationships. Perhaps a lifetime of underachievement. That's classic. There's actually been a lot of research on the correlation between, like, people who suffer from addiction tend to have high IQs. Right? That's not a secret. Just go to your next support group and look around, and you're probably surrounded by some pretty smart people. And yet, when we look at our own lives, we've fallen short in so many different ways that then we beat the crap out of ourselves over, right? Underachievement. which is then that turns it into a lifetime of shame, right? Well, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough, and so we get caught in this shameful, shameless cycle, which looks like this. If you feel like you're not good enough, then you're going to spend the rest of your life trying to prove that not only you're enough, but that you're better than or more than, just to feel normal or to feel human. So the shameful, shameless dynamic, we talk about that one a lot too in our program. That's been with us long before using ever started. Certainly the depths of our addiction started. Shameful, shameless dynamic has been present. We start developing perfectionism. We need everything to be a certain way just to feel comfortable. You go into a restaurant with your friends or your family, and you can't really enjoy the reason that you're there because you're so focused on how slow it takes the waiter or the waitress to refill your glass, the attitude that the hostess had when she seated you or when he seated you. That's what perfectionism is. It's a hyper, very vigilant focus on things outside of us that we can't control. And most of the time, it really doesn't even have anything to do with us, right? But we'll personalize it, we'll internalize it. We will ruin an entire meal for ourselves because we can't quit thinking about what everybody else isn't or is doing. We're recovering from a lifetime of self-defeating behaviors, which perfectionism is one of them. We're recovering from a lifetime of trying to have it all together and pulling it off at times. That's part of the shameless side of that dynamic. Addicts, alcoholics, man, can be masters of getting laser focused and pulling some stuff off some of the time, followed by losing it, right? Because we don't know who we are. We've got all these other elements that are going into play. No wonder we became addicts and alcoholics. This is a lot to overcome. So, not to scare you away from recovery, but to hopefully open your mind to what your journey should really be looking like, right? If you'll work on these things, if you'll really understand what's underneath, and you allow yourself to be on this journey of self-discovery. I know that's such a cliche, but live it, practice it, seek guidance and support for it, and the drinking and the using, that just goes away. Your craving goes away. You will get to a point where the idea of drinking and using is no longer on the table, right? It's not part of your thought process anymore, if you work on these other things, okay? And that, of course, takes time. So be willing to take the time. That's all I got for you. I appreciate y'all watching. Please like us, subscribe, follow us. Whatever you do on this platform, do it. We appreciate it. And we're going to keep coming back with more information. And Happy New Year's. Do it. We appreciate it. And we're going to keep coming back with more information. And Happy New Year's. Do it. We appreciate it. And we're going to keep coming back with more information. And Happy New Year's.